If your back's flexion intolerant, then it really won't like sitting in a slumped position for long periods, like using your laptop on the couch, for example, or even just a badly set up home office environment. But the golden rule here is that you want to have your hips slightly above your knees, not the other way around. If your hips are slightly below your knees, what happens is your lower back rounds, compressing the discs and stretching the ligaments in the spine, which can cause back pain, but especially if you're flexion intolerant. Now, if you can adjust your chair so that there's a slight tilt, then that's great, but you may not be able to do that. A simple and cheap solution is just to get one of these, just a seat wedge. You can get them online for not very much money, but you can see what it does straight away. It's very comfortable. It's much more comfortable than sitting without it. And straight away, I'm sitting up straighter without even trying. It's just raising the hips slightly. And what that does is it maintains the arch in the spine that takes the pressure off the discs and puts you in a much more comfortable ergonomic position. But if you want the ideal setup, then what you want is a sit to stand desk, because it doesn't matter how perfect your ergonomics are or how expensive your chair is. At the end of the day, you're not meant to sit down all day. So if you get the opportunity to go from a sitting to a standing position, say every hour or two, then it makes such a difference, not just to the health of your back, but to your general health as well. And in fact, if you're flexion intolerant, then one of the best things you can do is just sit down less, full stop. For example, no one said you have to have breakfast sitting down in the morning. You could have it standing up like this, and the same goes for other activities throughout the day. In terms of exercises, if your back's flexion intolerant, then it really won't appreciate too many forward bending movements. But ironically, these are the kind of things that are often given to people with back pain. So for example, I don't particularly like forward bending toe touches because I don't think they're the safest exercise for anybody. But even a nice simple exercise like pulling your knees up to your chest, that often feels quite nice for some people, could aggravate your back if you're flexion intolerant. So instead, you want to be focusing on backward bending exercises or extension exercises. Now, a nice simple one that I like, because you can do it anywhere, is a standing inhalation stretch. All you have to do is stand in a neutral position, take one hand in the other, and take a long, slow, deep breath in as you raise your arms up overhead. So by the time your arms are in the air, you've filled your lungs, but you hold that breath as you lean backwards and just hold it for a few seconds. It should feel really nice, like there's a deep stretch in there, but it's comfortable. Slowly let the breath out as you lower your arms down, but you do it all in a slow and controlled manner. I particularly like this when you've been on a long drive and you get out the car and your back's feeling stiff, or you've been gardening and bending forwards, or even if you just sat for a while. It really helps to reset the back and stretch it out. It should make it feel a lot more comfortable. And if you're tempted to do sit-ups and leg raises and things like this to strengthen your core muscles, then please don't. These are not appropriate for flexion intolerant backs. Instead, a much better core strengthening exercise is a bird dog exercise like this. It's a great exercise for strengthening all of the core muscles while keeping your back in a neutral position so you're not putting it into flexion and aggravating it. This is a really good core stability exercise if you're flexion intolerant.